miginistani BBC hatoka Rais Nasheed Degwa hasa bastigatu.
Mohamed Nasheed in the Maldivian capital, Male. Welcome to Hard Talk, and let me begin with a very simple first question. On February the 7th, you resigned. A short time later, you announced that you'd been the victim of a coup. Tell me now, what really happened?
On the 6th of this month, at about 5 o'clock in the morning, I went to the National Security Headquarters because there were mutinous police outside, and then I wanted the military to see if they will arrest them. I asked the military to arrest them. I worked on it till about 11 in the morning the next day, but the military refused, and later on they joined with the police, and both together gave me an ultimatum that I should resign within 1 hour. In front of that kind of hostility and the threats that they were very clearly demonstrating to everyone, I resigned because I did not want the military, neither the police, to use arms and start shooting at the people. Neither did I want the police to storm the National Security Headquarters. In the interest of the people and in the interest of peace, I decided that the best thing at that time, actually the only thing at that time I could do, was resign, and therefore I resigned under duress. Later on, I was able to, when I was able to get out of the situation, rather get out of the military headquarters and also get out of the presidential palace where I was kept for a few hours.
Because it seems to me the story that some of your...
Sorry?
If I may just stop you there for a second, Mr. Nasheed, I want to be very clear about this. Some sources close to you have suggested that when you made that public declaration of resignation, you literally had guns pointed at your head. Is that your claim or not?
No, that's a literal, I mean, I don't think literally, no, there was no guns aimed at my head at that point, but I had resigned by the time I gave the statement. They had already taken a letter out of me by the time I gave the statement. So the statement was after the resignation. The resignation was under duress.
You have statements from several people. If I may just give you one example, from the current president, Mohamed Waheed Hassan, who of course was vice president at this time before you'd actually resigned. He says that he saw you voluntarily writing out the letter of resignation?
No,
putting
he
on the
didn't.
best
That is
to
not
make
true.
your
He was
statement?
not there.
He says
This is not
entirely
true at
to
all.
say that there was a coup d'etat.
No, Stephen, he was not there. He wouldn't have seen me writing the letter. There were 3 military personnel right in front of me, and then there were about 18 more others a few steps behind me. The vice president wasn't there. This was quite unusual that he wasn't there. This is not true that he was there.
How do you explain the fact that the Indian High Commission is quoted by Indian media sources as saying that you had spoken to them hours before the resignation and had explained that because of the unrest in your country, because of the potential for great bloodshed, you had decided to quit the presidential office? That sounds to me like a resignation.
Well, I had decided to quit because there was a mutinous police force outside, and the national security forces had joined the police in mutiny, and they had given me an ultimatum that if I did not resign within 1 hour, they would resort to use arms. They said that they will use arms on me and on the people. That is why I resigned.
The truth that you resigned because you failed. You failed to maintain the security of your nation, the most fundamental duty of any president, and you had lost control of many of the people in your country, including people inside your own armed forces. You had failed.
Well, you have to understand that the Maldives is a very tender democracy. After 30 years of dictatorship, we had a new constitution, and we are in the process of consolidating democracy. Now, we are, unlike in the past, we did not purge the police, we did not purge the military, neither did we arrest anyone from the opposition or from the previous administration from the dictatorship. We wanted to see how we may be able to work with people. We wanted to see how we may be able to do things more amicably. I did not remove anyone from the military, neither did I remove anyone from the police. The idea was that we will be able to work it out so that democracy can be consolidated over a period of time. While we were doing it all along, the previous regime, the old dictatorship, the old order, has always been trying to come back. And with the help of the police and with the help of the military, they forced me to resign, and they are back. It's not Dr. Wahid, it's the old order in a new facade. Dr. Wahid is the vice president. Of course, he knew about the coup, he knew what was going on, and now the old order is back again. We have to get the Maldives back on track. We have to have democracy here. Our people had high aspirations in implementing the new constitution, and they still want to see the constitution implemented, and they still want to see democracy ongoing. You have to have a look at what is happening in the Maldives. There are hundreds of people out on the streets, thousands of people out on the streets, and they all want to continue with the democratic establishment work that we were doing. That is why people are out on the streets. That is why people are calling for an election. I have been removed from office forcefully, and now we cannot let the illegitimate government run. We have to have fresh elections in the Maldives as quickly as possible.
Yeah, your problem is that although you describe it as an illegitimate government put in place by essentially a rebellion within the security forces, that is not the way it clearly is being seen by many influential outside powers. Why is it, do you think, that the United States, the United Kingdom, India, and indeed the UN envoy all appear to recognize the legitimacy of President Wahid?
No, both the Indian government and the US government and the United Nations, they are all saying that they need to investigate into the events and how transfer of power happened. What they are suggesting is whoever who is in power, whatever the status quo is, they will have to work with the status quo. It's not necessarily recognizing the government. I very clearly heard the British Foreign Secretary William Hague saying that it will be difficult for them to recognize the government until they are clear on what happened in transfer of power. Now we have Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, and they will be coming, I am told, to the Maldives on the 17th, and they will ascertain the facts and find out what happened during the 7th, during the 6th and the 7th. Which is during the transfer of power. It was very, very simply a coup. Now, I am not hiding. Usually if there was such a outrage against me and people being deposed and resigned, you usually have a situation where the whole country is in euphoria with the new government. But that is not what we are seeing here in the Maldives. What we are seeing is that everyone is out on the streets in support of us. So I think what is happening in the Maldives is obvious. The old order is back again in a new facade, and we have to get the country back on track.
Let me turn your logic around a little bit. If indeed it was the forceful coup that you say it was, it seems very odd to me that there you sit quite happily in the TV studios in Mali talking to me, telling me what a terrible thing has befallen you. Indeed, the current President Wahid has said that all of your rights and privileges will be respected, and he wants you to work with him to ensure calm and stability in the country. That's a very odd coup d'etat. Usually somebody like you would end up in a dungeon somewhere.
Yes, usually that happens, but as soon as this happened, I was able to slip out from the military headquarters. I said I will only write the letter in the president's office, and soon after that I was able to come to my people, where the vast majority of the people of the Maldives then finally realized what was happening, and then they came out in support of me. I am able to talk to you today because there are thousands of people outside all supporting us. I have an arrest warrant on me. The police are out there trying to get at me. I'm only able to speak to you because the vast majority of the people of this country wants me back and want to have democracy ongoing.
Think you're going to be arrested?
I have a court order on me, and I have the police after me. The police is always after me, and they want to arrest me. But I don't think the people of this country are going to let that happen. They are all surrounding me all the time, and even the TV station that I am talking to you now, they will be harassed soon after I leave here. Everyone is working in high risk, but I think the people of this country, I was forced to resign, Stephen. No, this was not true. What has happened here is that we were not able to suppress the old order because we did not want to sound heavy-handed. We wanted to run a process, and we were running a process, but they came when we started reforming the judiciary. They knew they couldn't hide behind the judiciary anymore. We had already six opposition MPs had criminal cases in the same courts when this happened. So they didn't want the courts to be reformed. There's human rights abuses, there's corruption cases of the past, and they don't want any of these things looked into. That is why they were so concerned when we started reforming the judiciary. There was no popular demonstration here, Stephen. 200 or 300 odd people whom they paid, they were always every night demonstrating around. And then when finally they won, they were able to get me out of power. Where are the people who are in euphoria? If I am not so popular, and if I shouldn't be in government, I'm sure there should be people out on the streets on their side. But that's not happening.
The first question I'm going to put to you is this. You've spent time in political exile before. Do you believe you're going to have to go back into political exile again, given the current predicament you are in?
No, we will have elections here, not to worry at all. The people of this country wants election, and we will have election. We are holding on to the people from violence, but their sentiments are really, really boiling up. But we will hold on to it. We will have protest here, peaceful political activity here, until we have elections, and we will not relent.
Where is your family right now?
My family is in Mali. Now, my wife is in India, and both my daughters are in Mali now.
And your family are going to stay?
Yes, they are going to stay. We are all going to stay. Whatever happens, we are all going to stay here, and we will win the elections. we will have early elections in the Maldives. You see, the interest of the international community cannot be served by just protecting the existing status quo. The existing status quo is the old order, and we can't let that happen. You have to serve the interest of the people of the Maldives. So we will have to have fresh elections.
The position you've outlined on this program today suggests to me that the Maldives may be heading for very serious internal conflict over the next few days and weeks. Would you agree?
Well, I hope that the international community would understand, and also the rebel government would understand that they don't have a chance to continue. They can't run the government. Dr. Wahid doesn't have a single seat in the parliament. He doesn't have a single local council seat. We have a working majority in the parliament, and whatever cabinet or whatever he does, it has to come through the parliament. Unless they go ahead and arrest all the parliamentarians as well, it's going to be totally impossible for them to do this. So I think everyone will realize that we have to have fresh elections here.
Hang on. How disappointed are you with the reaction that I outlined earlier of the international community? They have not stood in support of you and your position, have they?
Some of them haven't. The British government has, and the vast majority of the Europeans have. The Commonwealth has. Those who haven't are the Indian government and the United States government. I understand that the Indian National Security Advisor is going to visit the Maldives again, and I understand that India will come around to see what has happened. In the first flush of things, both India and the US was unable to ascertain what happened here. I think when they came here, they very clearly found what has happened, but by this time their governments had given statements, so therefore they're finding it difficult to turn around, but I'm sure once the facts are clearly understood, they will all support an early election. I am hoping that the Indian government and the United States government will come around to this position in the next day or so.
Final thought for you. You have spent years in prison in the Maldives over the last 20 years because of your fight for political freedoms. Are you now ready and prepared to go back to prison?
If need be, I am very ready to go back to prison, but fortunately the people of the vast majority of the people of this country are with us, and I do not see any reason why I should go to prison. I think the rebels should go to prison. Those who mutinied should go to prison. Those who used force to change an elected government should go to prison. I am sure they will go to prison, but I do not see how and why I should be going to the prison at all.
Ahmed Nasheed in Mali, thank you very much for joining us on Hard Talk, and I apologize for some of the technical difficulties we had, but thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Stephen.
गिना फरात होंगे बपुने में फुलूंगे आमंत्रण तंगे दो हुरी इनमें एक शेरिंग बागों तेन कहीं नूने जिम्मेदार कमाए की गए नूने फुलूंगे बाज बितादा कमाए की गए तो पुलिस इंटीग्रिटी क्वेश्चन के राइज के लिए सिस्टम सवाल थे
ಈಗ ಆಮಿ ತಿವಿದಾಳು ಇವ್ರಿ ಹಾತಾರೆ ಗಸ್ ಹವಣದು ಹೊಸ ಅವಣದು ಗಸ್ ಆಮಿ ಹಿಂಗಾದೆ ಕಂಕಮಾಗುಳಿಗೆ ಮಿ ಹವಣದು ಹಿಂಗಾದೆ ಕಂಕಮಾಗುಳಿಗೆ ಮಿ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಮಿ ಮಾಲೂಮಾತ್ ದಿಮುಗ ಕುಮಸರ್ಗೆ ದಾತಿ ಕಮೆ ಹುರಿ ಎದು ದೆಂಗಣೆ ಅಳುಮೆಣ್ಣ ಫುಲ್ ಹೊಂಗೆ ಫರಾತಂ ಮಾಲೂಮಾತ್ ಹೋದನ್ ದಾತಿ ಬೆ ಫುನ್ ಮಾಸಕೆತ್ತ ಬೆಸುರಿ ಗೊತ್ತುಂ ಹಿವಣೆ ಮಿ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ Commission diye media in eden liben hori malumaten ekkoram ege terega den mi fulunna de tere kurevuno mi tomattaken hurikam faak kurave ekan kama be malumat saaf kuramun hama ane hama evagutum fishigen arumen masake kuramu di adimi harus dua hoge kankama guligen balanje kankame mi urna me kankam hama komisionum balang ane dua hopatini maafa e मालूमात हो तुमगे मरहला एक आदमी उड़ेनी हरबन दोगे हादसा तक गुड़े मालूमात मी लिबुमु का कुमसरे के दाती तक उड़े अरु नहीं बनी दें हम रुगा देंगे बदल तक बस आमा गुड़ी के हेंगे मैं मालूमात तंग हम लिबुम दावर का कमीशन कम वाला मंगे दाने
आदि अरु ना हम अपना गुड़ी दे आप बना दो हमारे बीबी मुजाहरा है तो मुजाहरा का मी आमुगे फरातुना हमगी नादिगे में होनदी फुलहुम बारुगे बेणु कोफवनी हम एम रंगल गुतुगे मने एम कीगे तो विदान अबने दुवगे मुजाहरा गुलिगन दें मी अरगंडो सदी कमीशन गे मेंबर हम बस मी टीवी नेरो हादसा त लाइव करम देरवा अदि एक फॉर्म बस गनसे बे रिपोर्ट बालमंगेंदे नद देंगे एक तेरेगा हम कमीशन हमर कंबडवा काला मी अमल तक फुलम फरातुम फेन्ना मुंदिया कं फा कुरेबनु दें अने हम कमीशन एदो कुल्ली बदल में बावा कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस के हम बस में जहिंग है तो कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस के हम बस मालूमात साफ को अदे मी गितुम मी एकंकमा गोड़िगन फुलुंगे मी अमल ता बुरे गोतकी कानूना एकुततो कशोर को दिनमा अने कमिश्नर में सदी अड्डू सिटी टीम फोनोमा बेस्ट कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस से दिवडागन फोती एगोतम मी मालूमात बदल को मी फुलुना देतरे तो मत के कुरंदा कमंग का रिपोर्ट के कमिश्नर बस दिवडानंदा कम विदाळे आर्गुमेंट ना दें कम सरकार अलर्ट कुरवे एगोतम अने अड्डू सिटी दिहबन दो गेरे मी कमिशन के टीम ज़ियारत को ततुरकी अड्डू सिटी का हिंगा दिया कंटेक्ट का गुड़िगन देंगे हाँ पे अवर रिपोर्ट तक यंग आई मैं आई को अदे मी रिपोर्ट तो गा मी हिमेनो कंटेक्ट है कि मी एक कम की फुलहोंगे मार्कस तक कवर बढ़त के लून तक लिबी फुलहोंगे मुदला मी वर फुलहों नब्बस वर बढ़ते आने आता के लून लिबनो खबर तक का आई को गा जहिंगे दो मी हादसा तक गुड़िगें हयर को मी होना मी फुलहोंगे फरातुं हारो कशामल तक इंगा कम तुम तक बस एक हाल रिपोर्ट तक बस लिबे मुंदी इमा अड्डू सिटी हालत मी कमा गुलुं हुरी कमीशन के मैंडेट तेरे बलंजे कंकम की को बैकम वजन कुरमट्ट का कमीशन दतरे कुरी को मी ए मसल तक की को बैकन देन गत मट्ट का वेनु बाहुरे हम मालूमात एक को गेंग आर्गुन में मी रेगे वगुतिक माले एंब्रे आई दें अरुणिमा कुरिम विदाड़ी मी सवाल का हबन दोहा अबन दो मी हबन दो के कंकमा गुड़ी के दें आने अरुण हम फाहा को दम फुल हुन्ना बस अनि यहाँ तक बस लिख फोरी कमा मी फुल होंगे तेरेगा बस मी बाय फुल हुन्ना मी कमसर कबीर कमाए मी इंजार तक अन्नम दिया कमा एक आहल तुहमत तक कुरेवी बाय फुल हों हायर कुरे कम के तुहमत तक बस रिपोर्ट तक बस आमा गुड़ी के एक कम बस साफ को फाड़गुन में मारनी मी दें ओवरऑल को मी हादसा तक गुड़ी के बस तुहमत तक आदि रिपोर्ट तक बाय अफरात तक हूँ मी ये बेफरना लिफोरी के लोन तो के वहाँ के दारों में इंदनी ये हुआ कमीशन बाला रिकॉर्ड को ताकि कदांजे कंतत्त का तैयार हो मम्मी तर्निंगे था एक मी अरुण लाफा करने मी हार अरुण दिन लाश बनने ती फमी आई रो बाइट ताकि तुम्हें हर कुरिया दान ने अरुण हाल है बनी फुलगुन कानून दीफावा पार्ट तो कितनेगा फुलगुन के हिमायत के समान होने उनके सलामता होने तने के हम जो मा इतुरा कोरियन लोगे तो हम फुलगुन ने बदली दीफा वे हम बाल के बेन को मिसर का कुरा मैं हिंगा देखन तक बला आएगा फुलगुन बाल के बेन को फेवनी किहा मेंबर कत्तो शहीदागा
अरुण सीधा तीय जवाब दन्ना मिंगे नहीं अरुण में बाला थगी कुरमफ़ा हो दें मी कुल्ले का मंजर तक फेनिगन दिए रुगा मी අරුමෙන්නගේ වගතුම් මන්සර්ත ෆෙන්නමුන්දී අවණ දුහ මාලේග බෙබි මසහ